Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what could be the angle of the century for AEW. Tony Khan.
Important caveat there.
Tony Khan. got Tony Khan driver, whatever they're calling that move.
Yeah, that's what it's called now.
I think it's called the Tony Khan driver now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Used to be the Meltzer driver. And for the first time, I think ever, Shad Khan, his father, appeared on programming in the first Dynamite after AEW Dynasty, and we're going to talk about all that, what we thought about the angle, what we thought about the show all together. But first, of course, we've all seen the angle. Even if you haven't watched Dynamite, you've probably seen it on social media. It was
all over the place.
It was. Last night's Dynamite closed with the new Elite. Throw up your threes, Larson. Or E. I guess it's an E. It's three fingers that makes an E. The Elite's shocking attack on Tony Khan. And according to Fightful Select, Tony Khan continued selling the effects of the beatdown backstage. Fightful was told that Khan was sporting a neck brace during the shoot for the parking lot brawl between Chuck and Trent early Thursday morning. NFL.com even did a write-up on the attack. According to Fightful's report, AEW talent wondered if Khan, who also serves as the Jacksonville Jaguars chief strategy officer, will sell the effects of the TK driver during this weekend's NFL draft. And in fact, there were pictures of him. I guess there's some sort of there's cameras. ESPN is documenting the entire draft. And in fact, he has a neck brace on as of this morning while they're filming that stuff. It's to be honest with you, it's kind of awesome.
It's pretty great.
I really loved the angle. I thought the angle was all sorts of awesome. I as a whole, I really enjoyed Dynamite last night. I thought it had an energy about it. It had a bit of a kick in the pants, maybe. Not everything was perfect. There were some things that, I take issue with. But overall,
the audio was garbage for the whole show.
What is with AEW and their audio? What
know.
is with that? Dude, they put together a pretty decently booked show. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck did they just say? When Serena Deeb came out and sat next to the title.
Like a quarter of it.
At that point, I was like, okay, in a vacuum, if that was the case, I kind of appreciate the chaos of us not hearing what she's saying because she just comes out unannounced, sits next to the title and talks to the camera while all this chaos is going on. That would make some amount of sense. But given within the context of the rest of the show being completely bereft of camera audio, mic'd audio, all we heard was what the audience was hearing.
Yeah, pretty much. There was an echo. It sounded like they were getting direct audio plus the audio from the venue mixed together on the TBS broadcast.
Yeah,
and it was hard to hear some stuff.
Yeah,
trying to transcribe interviews and stuff was difficult. But anyways, getting back to the angle that closed the show. I mean, at this point, the totality of this new Elite storyline they're doing now. We I think fairly criticize AEW bet a lot. It's hard to quibble with much about how they're handling this particular storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this moment, they got people talking about AEW in a largely positive light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that your experience? I didn't dive too deep into the social media aspect of it. When you looked at the Twitters, was it by and large? Because I didn't see a whole lot of negative out there from what I did.
No,
the
negative I saw predominantly was from the Twitter X accounts, whatever you want to call it, that are obviously pro WWE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if they do it just to engagement farm, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
There's accounts out there that just post everything great WWE, everything AEW's bad.
Yeah, sure.
And they were negative about it, but otherwise, most other, I guess you would say unbiased, whatever you want to say, outlets seemingly we're talking about it in I would not necessarily always glowing terms, but they were into the idea. It was something that we haven't seen in wrestling in a while. It's a time-honored tradition in the world of pro wrestling. The boss gets taken out by a heel faction,
Look at the origins of the NWO. Eric Bischoff standing up to Hall and Ash. He gets power bombed, and then he ends up flipping the script and joining them.
Exactly. So, we saw Jack Perry's return to Dynamite last night, and seemingly on the surface, he just wanted to get his job back. He just wanted to be reinstated. He wanted his suspension lifted.
Yeah.
And he shows up at the arena in a different car than the rest of the Elite. Security tries to keep him from entering. Matt Jackson says, no, he's with us. Let him in. They do. They eventually make their way to Tony Khan's office. And upon exiting it, Matt Jackson reveals, he's not going to answer Marvez's question whether Jack Perry has been reinstated, but he says Jack Perry is going to talk to Tony Khan in the ring later tonight. And that was our main event segment.
Yeah.
Jack Perry comes out. Tony Khan then comes. Jack Perry says, hey, everything I've done is with the best interests of AEW in mind. Can we shake hands and can I be reinstated? Mm-hmm. And Tony Khan seems enthusiastically in favor of that. Mm-hmm. He doesn't say anything, but he's clapping and excited about it. They shake hands. They hug. Jack Perry raises Tony Khan's arm and then sucker punches him right in the gut.
Yeah.
This brings the Elite out. And they're trying to tell Jack Perry, hey, calm down. Calm down.
What have you done? What have you done?
What have you done?
Yeah.
This is the boss. And the Young Bucks help Tony Khan up in a fashion that seems to indicate they're about to hit him with an EVP trigger.
Yeah.
Okada's like, whoa, you're not doing this, are you? And they're like, no. Then Okada does this. Gives them the double thumbs up. They pick up Tony Khan, hit him with formerly Meltzer driver, now Tony Khan driver. And it's very rarely that you see something in a wrestling storyline that takes you by surprise. That you're like, oh, wow, I did not expect this to happen. I did not expect Tony Khan to eat a Tony Khan driver, a Meltzer driver. And to see the new Elite lingering in the ring, really milking that moment. And then having the locker room come out. And then having Tony's dad comes out. And Carly Bravo sold that magnificently, where Shad Khan runs in. And he kind of does a double take. And the second time he looks at him, he's like, oh. Like he understands the magnitude of his dad being out there. So we understand the magnitude of his dad being out there.
Yeah.
All in all, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. I thought Dynamite, for the most part, was a really good show. You mentioned the energy. The pace was really good.
It was, yeah.
It didn't feel like any match or segment really overstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
It seemed like everything, more importantly, had a purpose in terms of driving stories forward.
That was the main difference I felt on Dynamite last night as opposed to how it's been kind of lately, where, even we start off with Orange Cassidy getting tossed out from the entranceway because they're at Daly's Place, which is such a weird venue. But it's got, there's a lot of good memories there from Pandemic because, that it was their location, there was headquarters. So Orange Cassidy comes flying out. He's all beat up. And it's like you get a segment. And I hate to put it this way, but because I honestly am getting so tired of like the contrasting between the idea of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. It's all the same thing, just presented in a different manner. Mm-hmm. But last night sort of showed the idea that sometimes you need some good promos to move things along. You need to understand motivations. You need, relationship developing, And so Trent throws Orange Cassidy out there. Chuck comes to the ring, and we get that segment. And it felt a bit, and again, I don't mean this in a derogatory manner or anything, but it kind of felt WWE reminiscent, of how sometimes they book their shows. And, sometimes you got to mix up the ingredients a little bit to effectively get across the focus of your show. And I thought that last night did a really good job of just focusing their show on stories that they could build for Double or Nothing, which is coming up in 4 weeks.
We're going to have 2 matches made for the show.
Yeah.
For Double or Nothing.
Yeah. So and then the Swerve's opponent is going to be announced
decided
next week. Yeah.
So, 4 weeks, about a month out from the pay-per-view, we already have probably the 3 top matches for the card already announced, and they can start building towards it. Another thing to note, it was announced on Dynamite last night. Kenny Omega is going to make his return to AEW in Winnipeg, his hometown. It's where Dynamite's going to be next week now. Mm-hmm. Given how many times members of the Elite stare directly in the camera and says, we're going to change the world, you got to assume Kenny's going to be involved in some sort of new Elite segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I don't know what Kenny's condition is. Obviously, he can't wrestle.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Could he take an EVP trigger?
Yeah,
If the new elite come out there and Matt's like, oh, Kenny, it's fine. You're out of action. We decide to upgrade the elite. This is the best version of the elite that's ever been, but we still love you.
Mm-hmm.
While Nick is the counter to that, just super hyper aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
Eventually Kenny eats an EVP trigger in his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Maximum heat on new elite.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know what level of any clearance Kenny would have, if he's even cleared for any measure of physicality, given his diverticulitis. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still undergoing treatment, may have to have surgery on it still. But you got to assume it's something involving the elite that's going to lead to a segment or a moment that's going to get maximum heat on them.
Yeah, you would think so. Again, like you say, importantly, it depends on what he can actually do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you got to expect that that's going to be a giant elephant in the room, and he'll address that. It could be a matter of, hey, I don't like where this is going, and I've got some backup that's going to, help neutralize the new elite. And I don't know who that would even be, if that's going to be the case, or if they're going to do, a series of, like who's Okada going to defend against it at Double or Nothing, or is it going to be like, an 8-man with, the new elite versus some other, faction? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But in any event, I did appreciate that last night things did seem much more focused than they kind of ever have on Dynamite. I love that Gauntlet match. I thought that Gauntlet match was awesome. Fun. Let's talk about that a little bit. Ospreay came out of, what do they call it? Like a casino?
Casino Gauntlet match. Sudden death.
Sudden death, yeah, which I love the idea of that, because it's like, okay, it starts off with two guys. If somebody wins before the next guy comes out, then it's over. It's done. Yeah, that guy wins. Yeah. But you just keep on adding people to it. And I love Ospreay selling Lance Archer. I thought that was an awesome moment. And it was just a wildly fun, wildly well-booked Gauntlet match that Will Ospreay won. And it was a shot. It was the winner gets a shot at the international title against Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing, which is going to be an awesome match, number one. Number two, he's going to win that match.
Oh, absolutely.
And I get the feeling it's kind of interesting, because if you look at how everything's sort of lining up, you got Swerve as the world champion. You got Ospreay coming out of Double or Nothing probably as the international champion. And you got Okada as a continental champion.
Well, you got Cope with the TNT title, too.
And Cope with the TNT title. But if you're focusing on, like, the youth, the younger guys that are going to be the future of the company, I know Cope is a hot young star. But if you take a look at the other guys, you've got an Okada and an Ospreay now that are going to be elevating their titles. So instead of having like a situation in New Japan 5 years ago where you had the Intercontinental and the World title, you might have a trifecta here of 3 titles by their young stars who are all going to be main event, future main event guys who are like main event now guys.
Yeah.
And they're going to be elevating all these titles to a similar prestige. I would imagine
that was my point. Yeah, that's my point in bringing up Cope, is that you have your 4 title holders in the men's division all being world champion caliber wrestlers.
True.
So none of them feel like a mid-card title.
Absolutely.
That was my point in bringing in Cope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that he's necessarily young and up-and-coming talent. He's older than we are.
Future of the company. Future of the company.
Future of the company for next year.
He can afford those Pearl Jam tickets. He's going to be going.
He's going to be in the pit probably. Those are probably even more expensive. $800 for floor seats. Get out of here. Yeah, no, you're right, and it's going to be a hell of a match. You get a title on Ospreay, because I guess the concern, especially with Ospreay's, like almost immediate ascent to top babyface in the company, seemingly, the worry was, all right, is Tony Khan going to hot shot him up into the world title program and potentially cut short Swerve's title reign? Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Yeah.
So hopefully that means Swerve's going to get a good, meaty title reign with good feuds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the same goes for Okada Continental title. Ospreay, once his inevitable win over Roderick Strong happens. And it's interesting that, during the course of that Gauntlet match last night, Ospreay teased using the Storm Driver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put stop to it. So I wonder if it's going to be something that's going to happen for a while here. Is his instinct is to set up for it, only for his conscience to kick in. It's like, no, I can't do this.
Well,
at some point, when is that going to cost him?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because it's going to be one of two things. Either it's going to cost him, or we'll all understand his desperation when he does use it to ensure that it doesn't cost him. And that's going to be some really fun push and pull right there.
Yeah.
And I love that they made that such a deep story beat coming out of, a match. A lot of people say, there's no story build. It's just who's the best. Well, you got a hell of a story coming out of it with a move, which is sort of emblematic of how far am I willing to go as a good guy too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that segment. I like that finally, we're getting some indication of like what exactly Ospreay has to do with the Callis family, because like he showed up and they did a weird thing where, okay, we're going to have Callis family versus Callis family. And then Ospreay just sort of seemed not bothered with them at all. And then they're sort of brought back into it. So I hope they actually explore that and like sort of give us a definitive relationship dynamic coming out of it.
Oh, we definitely got a sense of that in that backstage segment where Callis was giving Ospreay crap for not using the Storm Driver.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the
Kyle
kind of
Fletcher
thing that they need to dive
like,
into
hey,
more. Yeah.
He's like, come on, he won. He's going to win against Roderick Strong. Essentially drop it. Let Ospreay do his thing. So it's going to be a developing situation, especially given Fletcher and Ospreay's relationship prior to joining AEW as members of United Empire today. And now that Don Callis brought them both in, obviously Ospreay, he's a member of the Don Callis family in name only, seemingly. Doesn't really associate with them, doesn't have any sort of heel tendencies.
Right.
He's the top baby face in AEW. You can make that case.
Yeah, you got to ask, I mean, why? Why are you, and I'm talking about like within the story, like, well, what's it doing for you? Like, why are you involved in it? Is it just because in storyline Callis brought you in? Like, if it's a situation where, in the story, Ospreay gives Callis the credit for this awesome new opportunity in AEW, and he feels like he owes Callis that, hey, he brought me in, so I'm part of the family, and I'm going to go along with it. Then that needs to be explored and sort of, I don't want to say explicitly, but, laid out a little bit more bare for people to understand.
Or simply a situation where early on he was a member of Callis family. Callis brought in Will Ospreay's friend Kyle Fletcher. Ospreay sticking around to make sure he's got his buddies back,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Something, like give us the foundation of this connection still. Ospreay of the Callis family.
Let's talk about this. Swerve Strickland, first Dynamite since his historic win at AEW Dynasty, becoming world champion. No promo. There was a report from Fightful Select today that they're waiting on his celebratory promo for Collision, the top of Collision, like the beginning of Collision on Saturday, after which they're expecting to have their biggest lead-in from the Heat Celtics game. Which I'm kind of torn on. On one hand, there was a good tweet out there from our friend of the show SP3, who said MJF's first appearance as AEW World Champion turns on William Regal in a lengthy top of the hour promo. Samoa Joe, lengthy top of the hour promo, setting up multiple challengers. Swerve Strickland, 15-minute match in the second segment, just didn't feel right. I'm a bit torn on it because on one hand, I agree with this sentiment. I feel like there needed to be a statement from Swerve on the very first time we see him. From a business standpoint, if we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Collision, generally speaking, is not one of their top-rated shows. That being said, it could be, the ratings could be comparable to Dynamite, given the NBA lead-in. So, how do you feel about that? I'm a little bit torn on it. I don't know exactly.
I'm with you as well. I'm a bit torn about it as well, because it'd have been nice to have a huge moment on Dynamite. It's AEW's A Show.
Yeah.
To celebrate Swerve's victory. And I don't know if it was a situation knowing how much conversation the closing segment was going to generate. They didn't want something for Swerve to be overshadowed by that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a huge statement, on AEW or Swerve's part regarding Swerve's win, but maybe having Swerve on his first Dynamite as champion have a match, 'cause commentary mentioned it, is a bit of a statement that, contrary to Joe and MJF, Swerve is going to be a fighting champion.
Hangman's first match was like a month later. It was the Danielson match, and it was like a month later. And here's the thing: Hangman is it's the low bar for how to treat a face champion. Hangman's reign historically is not looked upon fondly, so you want to get better than that. And I understand that, I do, but for a show that seemed dedicated to setting up through promos stories going forward, to simply give your world champion a match with the foregone conclusion, I get it. He's going to be a fighting champion. He's going to be a Seth Rollins type champion, who I believe his first match after winning, or his first Raw after winning the title, the new World Heavyweight Championship title, I think he went right into having a match. But it's Seth Rollins, so that dude also had a promo.
Probably, yeah.
And so, it is the kind of thing where Tony Khan in the past has, once he achieves a certain goal, sometimes he has the habit of letting that thing drift away in advance, and prefers, hey, let's pick up these new things instead.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love this Will Ospreay. Let's make him, let's give him a big spotlight. Ooh, I love, we're going to do this thing where I get dumped on my head, and that's a big, and it is a big angle.
It is.
It's a big angle. But given that closed Dynamite and didn't open Collision, shows you kind of like, okay, this is where he's placing his priorities.
Yeah.
And the Elite's a big angle. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I thought it was a great angle. And I don't know. Maybe, hey, listen. Maybe if Dynamite scores a 750 in overall viewership this week, and Collision does 800. Thanks to the NBA lead-in, maybe I'll be eating my words, and they'll have been right about that, But, remains to be seen. I guess whatever they think is going to get the most eyeballs on a thing. But if Collision ends up dropping another 500,000, then it's like, okay, well, you guys probably knew this was still going to be B show levels, and you're putting your world champion celebration there. You got to do better than that.
Yeah. No, agreed. And, I guess it remains to be seen, not just the number that Collision will do in that segment specifically, but what the segment is.
Yeah.
Obviously we're getting something next week on Dynamite. They advertised it, setting up Swerve's first challenger as champion, at least on pay-per-view. So what is this segment going to be?
I thought it'd be strong like this week if we open up with, you got a big party in the ring, and Nana has put it together. And Swerve comes out and says, this isn't what I'm going to be about. I'm not going to be about the pageantry. I want to fight, because he's a babyface, and that's what he does. Mm-hmm. And that brings out, a Kyle Fletcher or something like that. And then you have like a 20-minute banger, as opposed to what they did, which is just he's out there for a match. Something that makes a bigger statement. But and so it's going to be in the execution. What is this celebration going to be? What is the promo going to be? And how impactful is it going to be? Honestly, like part of the... We'll see when we get to Wembley. But, right now, what do you think the odds are Ospreay's international title main events that show versus Swerve's world title?
Oh, probably pretty high, depending on Ospreay's opponent.
Yeah.
If they got a main event level opponent for Ospreay lined up, I wouldn't be shocked if Ospreay main events.
Same.
But also it would depend on Swerve's opponent, too.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. What main evented Wembley last year?
It was Adam Cole and MJF.
Oh, yes, Adam Cole and MJF, yeah. Anyways, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the show, Larson, would you like to pay some bills?
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp Steve.
Yes.
The weather. It's getting warmer.
Weather.
And my social calendar is starting to fill up, but I'm starting to realize my social battery isn't what it used to be. And I'm worried that I might ignore my social battery level and spread my social energy a bit thin.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I've noticed the same lately, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's the right amount of socializing for me and how I go about recharging my battery after I'm socializing.
Yeah, I say those same things to myself. And whether you thrive around people or feel like you need some time to yourself, therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life that doesn't drain your social battery. Back when I was dealing with severe anxiety in my mid-20s, my social battery was basically running on empty. And I avoided most social gatherings altogether. But therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety and help me charge up my social battery.
And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and then you could switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And let's get a word from our sponsor, Liquid IV. You know, I think I could speak for both of us. We love playing our basketball twice a week. It brings us so much joy, Steve. It really does. But as the temperatures start to rise, it's even more important that we stay hydrated out there while we're making moments on the basketball court.
That's right. And with a single stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water, that hydrates me better than water alone. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness, Liquid IV helps me avoid those nasty dehydration headaches I used to get after hooping it up. But Liquid IV is also the perfect companion to help you stay hydrated while traveling after a long night out, or if you're just chilling poolside.
And given how much I sweat when we play basketball, Liquid IV is essential for me so I can replenish my electrolytes and keep hitting jump shots in your face, Steve.
This doesn't happen ever.
It does.
No.
It does. And, you know, for someone like me who doesn't like sugar, Liquid IV comes in 4 delicious sugar-free flavors. You got white peach, lemon lime, green grape, and raspberry melon, my favorite. So tear, pour, and live more and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com.
Shall we jump into it?
Let's jump into it. It jumped into, what's his face? The Young Bucks. And Okada exit an SUV. Another one pulls up. Jack Perry gets out. He's smiling to the camera. They walk towards Daly's place. And then security tries to stop Perry from entering. And Matt's like, no, he's with us. And then Nick says to the cameraman, hey, stick with us. We got some business to attend to. But before we see what that business is, Orange Cassidy's music hits. But he's all beat up and his clothes are torn. And he gets tossed out from the stage. And then Trent's there. And he picks him up and he punches him towards the ring. Gets on the mic and says, Chuck, it's time. Please come out here. So Chuck Taylor ambulates to the ring, and Trent says, Chuck, I just want to start off by apologizing. I'm sorry. I had to do this a long time ago. I'm sorry we spent 5 years hugging this narcissistic prick. We brought him in here. He was supposed to be our mascot, and somehow he made us his lackeys. We fought for him. We protected. We did everything for him, and he gave us nothing. Orange Cassidy does not care about you. He's not your friend, Chuck. I care about you. I'm your friend. I love you. So please do the right thing. Give the people what they want. He opened his arms wide for a hug.
And then Chuck does the same at first, but then picks up the mic and says, hey, Trent, I always thought you were a piece of shit. Chuck finally gets to say shit on AEW television.
He's
been wanting that for a long time.
Angling to do that for a very long time.
For a long time. So Chuck clobbers Trent. Trent tumbles out of the ring, and Chuck says, Trent, I know they won't clear me for a match in this ring, but I don't want to fight in the ring. I want to fight you in the damn parking lot. So I don't know if that's going to be on Collision or Rampage or what, but they're doing a parking lot brawl.
I would think, isn't Collision? Oh, they might run it. They might run the tape of it on Collision or Rampage. Well, maybe they filmed Rampage right afterwards.
Yeah,
that could make
usually
some
what
sense.
they do.
Maybe it'll be on Rampage. So after that, we had a really long Jon Moxley promo. where he talks about defending his IWGP Championship. He has a match later on tonight. Powerhouse Hobbs. He says, don't mistake this for arrogance or underestimation of Hobbs. I know who he is, what he's capable of. He puts over Hobbs. He says, nobody knows better than me what it takes to get to the top or what it is to stay at the top. This is pretty much just trademark Mox. It's like, hey, Mox, you got 3 minutes. You got 4 minutes. Go ahead and talk. Yep. So, yeah.
Yep. First match of the evening, Swerve Strickland in a championship eliminator match against Kyle Fletcher. Prince Nana comes out first, introduces Swerve. He comes to the ring, and then Fletcher's next, joined by Don Callis. Don goes, sits at commentary. It's a really good match. It's a really good match. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it'd been nice for Swerve to make some sort of statement prior to match in acknowledgement and celebration of winning the title. Something.
Yeah.
Something. So during the match, the Elite in picture-in-picture walk into Tony Khan's office. The finish of this particular bout saw at one point Don Callis stand up from commentary and call a play to Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
And so Fletcher gets out of the ring, looks under the ring for a table, and is like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Gets back in the ring, hits Swerve with the running kicks, looking for the top rope brainbuster. Swerve fights out of that, hits the draping double stomp off the top, gets a 2 with that. Then Swerve follows with the house call to get the win. And after that match, when commentary says that Kenny Omega is going to be on Dynamite next week.
Dynamite. He's going to address all the shoot comments he's made on his Twitch streams. He's announced a new segment.
That should be the graphic. Yeah.
A new segment. Kenny Omega rates matches on Dynamite live.
And you get a still from his Twitch stream.
Yeah.
You do the select subject in Photoshops to see you put him there.
It's just so great.
Like that.
He's got like the controller in his hand right here.
Exactly.
He rates all these matches. So he's sitting there. He's like, this match right here is a 3-star match. I don't believe in giving 5 stars unless it's changed pro wrestling.
I wonder if Kenny has if 5 stars is his max.
I think he said it is. I think he said that 5 stars is his max, but he's got like incredibly lofty. It's like
his criteria is something else. Yeah.
His criteria is it's very lofty. Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks 5-star matches are few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So next we had a Thunder Rosa interview. So Renee asks her what went wrong at Dynasty, and Thunder says, "I can't stand here and complain about what happened." Sorry, it says, "I can stand here and complain about what happened, or I can evolve." Honestly, Renee, another thing that I can tell you is that Deonna wants to try to get involved in my business, or that Tony meant to kick me, I believe she said, in the ovaries.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually really proud of what I was able to accomplish. And before she could finish that thought, she's interrupted by Deonna Purrazzo, who says, "It seems like all you do is say my name, but you have the balls to say it to my face." So they start arguing back and forth, and they start pushing, and the security comes in to break it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they got a match coming up on Rampage, I think.
Oh, Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo have a Rampage match?
Apparently there's a 3-hour block again on Saturday of Collision and Rampage. Playoffs are preempting Rampage on Friday night.
Oh, that makes sense. I feel like that should be a Double or Nothing match. God forbid you have 3 women's match on Double or Nothing. But like they've been building this shit forever. They're going to put that match on Rampage?
I know.
Maybe it'll have a wonk finish. And they'll actually do the real match later.
Maybe.
Anyways, well, at Double it could end up being Thunder Rosa, Deonna Purrazzo, Tony. It could be like the Fatal 4. They like doing the women's Fatal 4.
Yeah, and maybe Mariah May in there,
or Serena Deeb,
or Serena. Yeah,
I was thinking Serena. Yeah.
Then we got a recap of Ospreay versus Danielson, and then we got Mina Shirakawa versus Anna Jay. This was a fun bout.
Hey, this was cool. Yeah, I like this match.
It was very good. Mariah May comes to ringside with Shirakawa. They used to be tag partners.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what the commentary tells me in Stardom. So Mina gets the win here. Anna locks on a Queen Slayer to counter Mina's finisher, and then Mina reverses that into like a crazy-looking roll-up to get the win. So then Mariah grabs some champagne, a couple of glasses, dances to the ring. She gets in. She's about to pour some champagne for them both, and then Anna comes from behind and blasts Mariah, blasts Mina locks on a Queen Slayer on Mariah, and then Toni Storm rushes to the ring to make the save. And then Serena Deeb's music hits, and she walks out to the stage, picks up Tony's shoes, and kind of tosses them aside, and then sits on the stage next to Tony's title, kind of arranges it.
Yeah.
And it was hard to make out what she said.
Well, I'm going to go to Tony Storm.
What? Speak up. Yell to the camera.
I'm going to make this promise. Next time I touch this belt, it's going to be when I become AEW Women's Champion. That's what I made out.
Well, you did better than I did. Of course, I
feel like she said a lot more than that. There was more detail, but that was the gist of it.
She's already kind of a low talker.
Yeah.
She's already kind of a low talker. Oh, man. Anyways, after that, hey, if Swerve Strickland didn't get a championship celebration, Willow Nightingale did, because she came out next for her celebration. Stokely and Statlander get in the ring to introduce her. Stokely says, in 1977, Bill Withers created one of the greatest songs of all time. Oh, Lovely Day.
You can't listen to that song and not feel good.
Unless you already feel bad, then it might make you feel worse.
I don't know, man. There have been times where I feel bad to put that song on. It's like, gosh, I feel so much better now.
Was it in your mid-20s?
Probably. Somebody was.
Somebody the other day said when we were doing our BetterHelp read, somebody was like, the lore of Larson in his mid-20s.
Yeah. Hey, I talk about it in some detail on FriendoCast.
You do, absolutely. So anyways, Stokely said Bill Withers created one of the greatest songs of all time, Lovely Day. And that's exactly how I feel. It's funny because then if you listen to Ain't No Sun, like what a pair of Bill Withers songs.
That's the dichotomy there.
Ain't No Sunshine when she's gone, but then Lovely Day, Which one came first? Well, not chronologically, but
Yeah.
Which one is a response to the other?
Yeah. Or are they a response to one another?
Maybe, maybe not. Anyways, Stokely continues, that's exactly how I felt. One of my best friends became TBS champion at Dynasty, Jacksonville, Florida. Are you ready to party? We got my main man, Caprice Coleman, at commentary. We got my girl, Chrissy Stat, right here. And Stat does basically kind of a poem. And Stokely responds with, Statlander, with all due disrespect, that was 2 packs of ass. So let's bring out the new face of TBS, Willow Nightingale.
Yeah.
And then Caprice starts singing to Willow's theme. It was hilarious.
Yeah, singing and rapping to Willow's theme.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. This is a championship celebration. Why didn't Swerve get something like this?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
So Willow comes to the ring. Stokely says, Willow, when this whole thing started, I didn't like you. And Willow responds, I didn't like you either. So Stokely adds, you are like a fungus that the doctor, just couldn't cut off, but look at us. Look at us. You earned that championship, and we're both proud of you. Willow says, thank you, Stokely. Thank you, guys. I'm proud, too, because tonight in Jacksonville is the very first place where, let me take you back to spring 2020. I was right here, front row, trying to catch my break. And then 2022, I was in this ring. Tony Schiavone met me here, and on that board, Willow Nightingale is all elite. But tonight I'm not trying to catch a break. I'm not a rookie. Tonight I stand here as the face of TBS. That's what I'm talking about. And then Mercedes interrupts.
There is no bigger boner killer, and I say that philosophically, metaphorically, party killer, whatever, than that fucking CEO theme. I hate that thing at this point, I fucking hate it, dude. It's part of the reason why I hate it so much is because the CEO is offbeat from the chant.
Yeah.
It's it comes in too smooth. It should be CEO, right? But it's CEO all in one thing. And I'm visually, it doesn't work. And on top of that, it's just a bad theme and it just spoils the mood. Themes are supposed to set the mood, something cool's about to happen. This does the opposite of that, Larson.
You get a chance CEO. Steve, you're not excited about that?
CEOs are the worst anyways. Honestly, if you think about it, they're the fucking bane of society's existence. They're horrible. You look at David Zaslav and how much is this fucker getting paid? Meanwhile, there was a strike going on where all these artists and writers and whatnot weren't getting paid.
And
CEOs are terrible.
How many movies did he put on the shelf that people worked countless hours on?
Yeah.
The studio spent tons of money on just to get a tax write-off. It's ridiculous.
Why do you think Boeing aircrafts are falling out of the sky? Because the fucking CEO doesn't know what he's doing because he's laying off everybody who's got experience and hiring a bunch of yes men. CEOs are terrible. You shouldn't want to be a CEO.
No one should want to be a CEO. CEOs are terrible. I agree with you, Steve.
I ain't chanting for CEO.
Anyways, Mercedes comes to the ring and says, Jacksonville, say hello to your...
Boo, CEO, boo.
So Willow tells her, Mercedes, this is like the 4th time you've interrupted me, right? This is my time now, so it feels like if you've got something to say, now's the time to say it. So Mercedes responds, Willow, I came here to congratulate you. I want you to enjoy the celebration because in 32 days, at Double or Nothing... It's only 32 days? Guess so. At Double or Nothing, you're looking at the new face and the new TBS champion. But I really came out here to ask you if you were that bitch that attacked me in the 2 weeks ago in the dark.
Can I ask you something real quick? Do you have a calendar right next to you? Because I love that you just pivoted. You said 32 days. Like you had like a little word of the day thing or something going on there.
No, I just thought it was longer than 32 days, but it's Double or Nothing's not like on the 31st of May. It's like the 27th. So
Looked like you looked over this way, though. It was kind of funny.
For some reason in my mind, it feels like it should be much longer than a month away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like 32 days. Anyway, Statlander says, hold on. She just got attacked last week, referring to Willow. So how do we know that it wasn't you that did it? And Mercedes responds, me? Why would I do that? How do I not know it was you? And Mercedes and Willow start arguing. And Stokely steps in and says, I hate to be all up in your business, but we all know it was Julia Hart, right? Statlander kind of pushes him aside. Willow says, even before all this, you attacked me nonsense. I felt like you had a personal vendetta against me, so I have to ask you, Mercedes, do you think I intentionally injured you that night we wrestled in New Japan? And Mercedes says, are you asking me if I blame you for almost ending my career? Are you asking me if I blame you for all the suffering and all the pain that I went through? Are you asking me if I'm blaming you for taking the one thing that I love the most, wrestling, away from me for a whole year? You don't want the truth, Willow. You just want to feel better about what you did to me. Willow says, Mercedes, I genuinely feel so awful that happened to you. But there are a lot of questions and doubts for me, too. After that match, I went to my hotel room and I looked at that championship, and I should have smiled, but I wondered to myself, could I have beaten Mercedes at 100%? Then the next day, I went on social media, and I heard everybody say the same thing. I went to the locker room, and I heard the same thing. And so that championship reign has quite an asterisk next to it. But this right here, there is no asterisk next to this. So at Double or Nothing, Mercedes, I want you 100% because I want to show you that I can beat you and why I am the TBS champion. So Mercedes says, well, enjoy this while you can because at Double or Nothing, you know in your heart you can't beat me. So Mercedes drops the mic. She starts talking crap to Willow. She turns to leave, and Statlander grabs her by the arm. Mercedes turns around and slaps Willow. So Statlander immediately pulls Willow back. Stokely, make sure everybody's separated. And eventually refs come out to make sure there no brawl breaks out or anything.
So the pessimist in me thinks Statlander's going to cost Willow at Double or Nothing, and then they're going to have a match on Rampage. That's where this is leading.
That sounds like a reasonable assumption based on how the AEW books the women's division.
It's such a bummer, and this is no shade to Mercedes. I think she's terrific. I think she's a terrific wrestler. I think she's in the ring. I think she's a lot of fun. But when you see this promo back and forth, Willow comes off like the star. Her confidence on the mic, her delivery is 1,000% genuine. And it just comes off so much more believable than Mercedes when you look at them side by side, when you're looking at this feud right here. And maybe I just got it in my head, but like, I've always been a big Willow fan, and I feel like, striking while the iron is hot is like such a smart move. And they got the timing perfect with Swerve, right? There's been other instances where they've got the timing right. I think understanding that Ospreay, like that's a big deal signing, and they're treating him like a big deal signing, right? But it's also because the fans immediately connected with him, and he connected with the fans so immediately, right?
Yeah.
Willow is, for all intents and purposes, a homegrown AEW star. Obviously, she was on the indies. She did plenty there, but she came over, and that's where the majority of people who now know Willow Nightingale have followed her from the ground up. Going back even to the Acclaimed, it took like an extra month, but they got it right with the Acclaimed. It took that loss to Swerve in Our Glory to figure it out at that New York show. But Willow is on the rise. And I don't know that you stop the momentum. by having Mercedes take that title off her, whether or not it's a cheat win. That kind of doesn't matter. But man, I don't know about that situation, because it seems kind of like a foregone conclusion, because they probably just spent a bunch of money on Mercedes, and she does not lose her first match.
No, you wouldn't think so. No.
So I don't know, man. If they're gonna have Statlander cost Willow at Double or Nothing, they better damn well make a big feud, make a big deal about that feud, and pay that off at a fucking pay-per-view, even though there's not going to be a title on the line. And not sticking on a Rampage or a Collision or some shit, like, or even a main event at Dynamite. Like, that's got to be a pay-per-view level feud.
Yeah.
And you can't kill Willow's momentum, because she is a hot hand right now.
She's
is so fucking good on the mic, dude. Last night, that was the first time that, like, she really got a lot of, like, it wasn't just a backstage interview or like a one-off segment. Like, that was a meaty-ass promo, and she killed it. She really did.
Yeah. She did. And I guess maybe the hope is everything you mentioned, plus post Statlander feud, which Willow would have to come out in the winning end. They circle back to Willow and Mercedes, and Willow gets her win back. If they make a story about it, then all right, potentially if the payoff is there, it'll be worthwhile. But how much faith do we have in Tony Khan managing that story and paying it off in a satisfying manner?
Yeah, man. I know.
So next, we're outside Tony Khan's office. Alex Marvez is waiting there. So Jack Perry exits first, and so Marvez says, "Hey, have you been reinstated?" Jack Perry just stands there for a moment. I think he smirks at the camera, and then pats Marvez on the shoulder and walks off. And so Okada's out next. Marvez asks him the same question. Okada just pats him on the shoulder. Nick is out next. Same question, same response. Matt's out last, so he asks Matt again, "Is Jack back in AEW?" Matt says, "I wish I had a better scoop for you. I will tell you this, though, Alex. Tony Khan just agreed to meet with Jack Perry tonight live in the ring," and then he pats Marvez on the shoulder and leaves.
Marvez is happy with the scoop, too. Looks at the camera and says,
he is.
"That's a scoop."
That's the scoop.
I love Marvez. He always gives the impression that he's working really hard.
Oh, I know. He does.
To get one scoop a show.
The one little scoop. Al Scoops.
Al Scoops. After that, we had a great little video package recounting Jack Perry's run in New Japan. And then we had this really fun casino gauntlet match.
Oh, this was a blast.
This was rad. What a great concept, too. I love that idea,
Heck yeah.
It's like it's a scramble, but it's a gauntlet scramble.
And it could keep going, in perpetuity until someone wins.
Seemingly, like, you could run out of roster members and start taking people from the crowd.
Exactly.
You
could have 200 people in there. It's a brilliant idea. So anyways, down towards the finish, we surfed the competitors. So Jay White and Dante Martin were out first. Penta third. Kyle O'Reilly now with short hair.
He got that short hair back. Yeah, I feel bad because I feel like I manifested that because I think I was a bit critical on the long hair.
Oh, I like the long hair. Ospreay's in. Lance Archer, Commander. Is Commander the last one in? I think Commander was the last one in.
Sounds right.
I think. So anyway, down towards the finish, Will hits Kyle O'Reilly with a hidden blade. Kyle kicks out. That's when Will calls for the Storm Driver, but he can't do it. So Kyle backdrops him, locks on a cross arm breaker. Commander looks to break that up with a 450, but in midair, Ospreay escapes the holder. Kyle O'Reilly lets go to get ready to get hit with the 450. So after Commander makes impact on the 450, Ospreay runs in, hits him with the hidden blade for the win. It was a really cool finish.
It was pretty awesome. This was a wildly fun match. Ospreay, dude, everything about him makes him the center of attention. Like, his selling of Lance Archer's arrival was so, like, I don't know. The dude, he can't help but be the center of attention. By the way, that little bit with him and Kyle O'Reilly, man, give me 25 really minutes of that. Holy shit.
I know. Yeah. The face-off with Jay White. Good stuff.
Oh, the face-off with Jay White, dude.
Good stuff. So anyways, after Ospreay gets the win, Kingdom! Here's the thing. You have Adam Cole in this faction. Why is he in the back? No disrespect to anybody else in Kingdom. You got Adam Cole there. Why is he in the back?
Dude, I don't know.
Anyways, they all come in the ring. Roderick Strong holds up the international title in Ospreay's face. They talk.
I think maybe the idea is like, if his thing is he's gonna stab Wardlow in the back, then he's gonna be behind Wardlow. Maybe like symbolically.
Maybe it's a situation where he's still maybe a little ways out from being cleared to wrestle.
So they don't
he
want him,
wants the rest of Kingdom
On the other hand,
to have the spotlight.
knowing AEW, what are the odds that they don't think about that shit? They're just like, all right, Kingdom, you're up. And there's nobody there to be like, all right, listen, guys, everything we do matters. So we need to make sure we get the order right of you guys going out there. You know what I mean? Instead, it's just like, all right, guys, come on. No, you guys go ahead. Because you know why he's in the back? Because Adam Cole's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, you guys go ahead. It's all, he opened the curtain for them because he's just a fucking nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, Wardlow, let's go kill it. Come on.
I'm going to glare at you out there, but don't worry about it. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, it's not real. You know, it's all just fun.
So after that, we had a Chris Jericho promo. He comes to the ring. He talks a lot. He talks
Whoa, buddy. Hold on a second.
Sorry, the learning tree. It's all over his graphics now.
Okay, so he did the thing where they're mocking Def Rebel because his theme song is new and it kicks off with them say, "I'm the learning tree," which I know I've been dogging Chris Jericho lately. That shit made me laugh because of his delivery. I'm the learning tree, and then this generic Def Rebel ass shit starts playing. I popped. That made me fucking laugh, dude.
Steve's invested now.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't
invested.
go that far.
So he says, "Hey guys, it's true. I'm the new FTW champion." There's been a lot of negative connotations with the letters.
Bro,
FTW.
He put a sticker on the FTW title.
I know.
It says the learning tree, Chris Jericho.
So he says, "What does the F mean? Does it mean forget the world? Does it mean F the world? It means none of those things. I'm changing it right here, right now. From now on, this means for the world championship. Because this is for all of you. We won this together. And the whole wrestling world is buzzing. And I can see why. I mean, I'm only doing God's work. And by that, I mean the God of pro wrestling. Terry Funk told me years ago, Chris, it's now your responsibility to teach the younger generation and take them to the next level. And that's what I'm doing. So thanks to Terry Funk once again. Thanks to you all. Thanks to Hook. What a great champion. What a tough competitor. He beat the living hell out of me. His only flaw is there's still certain things he needs to take from the learning tree. Lessons I want to teach him, including getting rid of the dead weight that he surrounds himself with, like Taz and Shibata, and all the collateral damage, all the clowns that surround him. More importantly, Hook, you need to listen to me when I tell you to stay down, all right? I told you to stay down at Dynasty. You kept getting back up after 2 Judas effects. You forced me to hit you in the head with the baseball bat, so that's on you. But I know you're at home listening and thinking about the lessons you've learned. That's exciting to me. And what's also exciting to me is a list of men and women who have been drawn to the Jericho vortex and have come out the other side, even top stars or more stars, bigger stars. And so many of them. And I am excited to see, and he's interrupted by
Bill Big. And he says, Chris, I've been in the back listening to you, and I've got only one thing to say. I need the guidance of the learning tree. Everybody knows you're the Socrates of professional wrestling, always willing to give advice, always willing to lend a hand, and always willing to take less established guys and bring them right up to the top. And he talks about how there's a bunch of people in the back that wants to be part of the learning tree. He says, nobody's bigger than me and nobody's better fit than I am for the learning tree. And you know it, and you can't teach that. So Jericho says, I got to tell you, Bill Big, I've been watching you for a long time. Been a big fan of yours for years. I'm one of the reasons why you're in AEW. Did you guys know that? So I'm going to think about what you said. I'm really going to think about it. I'm going to be keeping my eye on you, Bill. I'll be watching to see if what you say is true. And then Bill says, you do that. I'll show you. You do that. And then he goes. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I thought the segment was like a little long, but it wasn't too terribly long. And I thought Jericho was kind of, I mean, look, he's addressing the thing. And like you've said in the past, is addressing the thing really going to make the thing better? Maybe not. That being said, if it's entertaining, it's entertaining. And I hope it's entertaining because anything is better than having him out there with people chanting, please retire, because that just makes it awkward.
Yeah, it does. It does make it awkward.
I'm the learning tree.
It's going to be interesting to see where this goes, given that Bill's former tag partner, Ricky Starks, they as the unit had a feud with Jericho.
Yeah.
They were supposed to tag against Jericho and Kenny before Kenny had to leave.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because of his diverticulitis. And, of course, Starks had a long feud with Jericho, so, who knows how that's all going to play into it.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know. Like, Starks hasn't really been around, so I don't know what the deal with that is.
I don't know either. Then we got a Callis family interview, and Renee's asking a question. Don interrupts, says, Renee, sorry to interrupt, but I'm so happy for you, talking to Ospreay. We call you the Golden Goose for a reason. Now you're going to go get the gold and the international gold. You're a true international star. The only note I had was, we talked about the Tiger Driver 91. You had Kyle. Why didn't you use it? And Will interrupts, says, I don't want to do it after watching what happened to Brian. The move has to go. It caused neck injuries. Move has to go. And Callis says, I don't care if he's had 5 broken necks. Roderick Strong has had a broken neck. You know what's going to happen if you show weakness? And then Kyle Fletcher steps in and says, Don, he won the match. He's going to win the match at Double or Nothing. Don interrupts him. You're not the one to be talking to anyone about winning matches. He turns his attention back to Ospreay. You're going to be the international champion. It's all going to be good. You're going to nail him and give another broken neck for all I care. And now I got to go. I got to manage Hobbs because we're going to win a title tonight, and you're going to win one at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't care if he's had 5 broken necks. It's kind of messed up. After that, we had the IWGP title on the line. John Moxley.
I hope Will Hobbs isn't hurt. This match seemed to end rather quickly.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. What is Mox hit a paradigm shift, Hobbs kicked out of that, and then Mox went right into a rear choke, and then the ref called for the bell. Doctor comes in to check on Hobbs, and then Takeshita wearing just some really awesome, I don't know what you call those pants, but they're
cool
really
pants,
cool.
though.
They looked awesome. Beef out.
Yeah.
Not the hog. His shirt was off when I say beef.
Yeah. His upper body beef, yeah.
Right.
So at one point, Mox is looking for a cutter. Hobbs blocks it, charges Mox in the corner, and Mox sidesteps. So Hobbs just runs full speed in the corner and rolls the floor. When he got to the floor, he was grabbing his knee.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking to the ref. The ref was talking to Mox. So hopefully it's a story beat and he's not hurt. But,
Yeah.
Considering how kind of abruptly it felt like the match ended, I was concerned about it, and the fact the doctor came in afterwards too. So
it didn't seem like they had to extend the show out in terms of time much. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Trying to see if there's anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on social media about it. Then after that, we had a Shibata interview. So Renee asks if he's got anything to say following Jericho's promo. So Shibata says, Jericho called me dead weight and collateral damage. Next week, I'm going to damage him in his hometown of Winnipeg, become FTW champion. I'm going to chop down Jericho's learning tree. And Renee says, there you go. You got this match next week. And she's wearing a top that's got like a heart shape that's surrounded by rhinestones on it. And Shibata then adds, those rhinestones make a heart. That's fun. Through his phone.
Yeah, that
translator
was funny.
thing.
Yeah, I like
crowd
that shit.
laughed.
Yeah.
And then we got Jack Perry coming in the ring. Shivani introduces him.
Crowd's chanting, Cry Me a River. That was awesome.
There's actually a song called Cry Me a River that has a melody that you could sing to, chant with, as opposed to chanting to the melody of Seven Nation Army.
At this point, though, Seven Nation Army is kind of like wrestling chant.
Well, it's kind of like sports chant in general.
Oh, is it done at other sports?
I think soccer is like a huge one.
Oh, soccer, yeah, definitely.
Too.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, that's not surprising.
Anyways,
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to envision wrestling fans chanting a Justin Timberlake song.
I'm just saying it's fair.
Yeah, but how do you start that one?
I guess you say "Cry Me a River." You just sing it.
Yeah, but in chant form. I know
Seven Nation Army has that cadence.
It kind of does. I mean, I see your point. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of Seven Nation Army chant, be honest with you.
A little tired of Seven Nation Army chants anyways. Jack Perry says, first things first, I want to say that I've had some of the best nights of my life right here in Jacksonville, but tonight we have business to handle. I want to handle it right here, right now, face to face with Tony Khan. As Tony Khan comes to the ring. Perry says, it's been a long road. Almost 5 years ago was the very first Double or Nothing, and since then, AEW, he says this right to the camera, has gone on to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tony, it's no secret we had our ups and downs. We haven't always seen eye to eye, but from the bottom of my heart, the only thing I've ever wanted is what's best for AEW. So I want to ask you to please shake my hand, reinstate me, and let's go on and continue to change the world together. So Khan walks up to Perry, shakes his hand, and gives him a hug. In mid-hug, Perry again looks at the camera and smirks. Mm-hmm. So Perry then raises Tony Khan's hand and then punches him right in the gut.
What would you rate from 0 to 10? 10 being best, 0 being the worst. Tony Khan's bump on the punch.
It was like somewhere between a 4 to 6.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd give it.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
I feel like he needed a double over.
Well, at first he just laid flat,
yeah,
and then kind of turned on his side and was selling gut.
Yeah, right.
But hey, maybe he laid there flat because he got the wind knocked out of him, you know?
Oh, yeah, it could be, yeah.
So anyways, Young Bucks, Okada rush the ring, try to calm down Jack Perry, ask him what he's doing, what's going on, so Perry backs off. And the Young Bucks help up Tony Khan. But in doing so, tease an EVP trigger, and Okada's like, whoa, you're not doing this right. So the Young Bucks let go. Okada gives double thumbs up. Young Bucks hit him with the TK driver, stand over him in the ring, refs and medical rush in. Jack Perry gets on the turnbuckle. Says something about, I think Tony Khan costed him 8 months of his career. Mm-hmm. And then the refs ask the Elite to leave. They eventually do and pose on the stage. And Matt says, it's time to change the world, baby. Mm-hmm. They go backstage. Some of the locker room run to the ring, including Tony Khan's dad.
Yeah.
He did a hell of a job of selling actual concern.
He did, yeah. The memes are fucking amazing on Twitter. They're really great. They're really awesome. Okada, as always, my highlight. You know, doing the fucking NWO Hall Nash thing.
Yeah.
And just you can tell that he just can't help it. He's like Gunther. He can't help but smile the entire time. Like, he tries to be menacing guy, but he just has that half smile on his face. He looks like he's having a blast. Honestly, like Ospreay and Okada, I think both. I'm really happy they landed in AEW. Okada, my heart was saying, man, go to WWE. But like now, what they're doing with him, I fucking absolutely love. I think it's great, and I love it. And it seems like he's having a great time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I like this. If this is going to be sort of the direction that they're going in, I like it. I think it's good, man.
Yeah, me too. You want to answer some questions?
Let's. First, let's talk about the Friendo Club setup.
Oh, sorry,
man.
I skipped over the Friendo Club setup.
We're in the middle of this huge predictions challenge right now. We already did AEW Dynasty. Coming up, we've got WWE Backlash. And granted, if you don't have the Friendo Club set up yet, if you haven't participated this month in the predictions challenge, and you want to get in and maybe get your toes in, get your feet wet on the predictions challenge, Backlash is a great way to get started. You know, yeah, you might not be able to win the war, but you can win the battle, and you can show everybody yours is superior. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the Big Blue Predictions Challenge that's going on right now, and the only way you could participate is by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson and choosing the Friendo Club setup, or you can go to youtube.com/Steven Larson and click on join. Either way you do it, it's $5 a month. Either way you do it, you get the same thing. Access to the predictions challenge. Access to our bonus episodes. We just filmed a new Friendo cast yesterday. It's in your hands, Larson. When can we expect that episode to go up?
Monday at the latest.
Monday at the latest. Also, access to question threads. We're about to read a bunch of questions exclusive to the Friendo Club setup. So it's a great way to help support Going in Raw. Steven Larson, Friendo Club setup. It's $5 a month. 2 ways to get it. So check it out if you have the time. If you got a couple extra bucks in your wallet, burn a hole. You can put it in your computer. You feed it into your computer, and then you can, yeah, exactly, just like that with both hands.
Do you have a CD drive? Put it in there.
It's like a $1 Mendy.
You got a USB drive. You fold that dollar bill up right, nice and small. Yeah, right. Shove it that USB drive. I'm sure it'll get to us.
I'm sure it'll happen. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, no. Ethernet. The port.
Ethernet
put it in
port.
there.
Just jam it in there.
Jam in there.
Maybe get like a screwdriver and help shove it in.
I was going to say a hammer.
And then there's like a little tube. It goes thump right here.
That's where all the communication happens. It goes through that tube.
You got that right.
I'd imagine it's like the one at the bank where you put the thing in there and. but it's for internets. And it takes money, too. Also, if you're watching this on the YouTube, if you could, please hit that like button. This one looks like a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We're trying to get to our next palindrome sub goal, 202,202. And I think we're about 700 off from that. Yeah, roughly 700, 800 off. 800 and change off. So every sub counts. Hopefully we'll get to that by, I don't know, let's say, I think we do that by double or nothing.
Well, I think we should definitely try.
Double or nothing is the goal. Thank you for the sub, for the like. We appreciate it. Let's answer the questions.
First up, the wrestling old head says, who had the better cosplay? Chris Jericho as CM Punk or Big Bill as Jake Hager? Jericho as CM Punk?
Well, I guess the idea is this whole learning tree thing is supposed to be a jab at the idea that Punk was upset that no one was taking his advice backstage.
Are people like, is that a like, because I somebody asked me that, do you think it's this? I think over at Wrestle Juice maybe. I take it more as him. I mean, look, it definitely could be that. Maybe I'm just naive. I take it more as him addressing the concerns about him.
It could be both.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah.
DJ McMaster here says, Tony Khan in full desperation mode now, channeling his inner Eric Bischoff after stating he was never going to become an on-screen character involved in storylines. Well, he's still not really an on-screen character. I think the idea is that he wasn't going to be on a regular basis. He wasn't going to be a Bischoff. He wasn't going to be, a WB-style general manager.
It's been 5 years. And yeah, he generally only shows up to make actual announcements about stuff. Mm-hmm. But like, he's been in the background. He's been in segments. His name is referenced plenty. And if you want like a big, cool angle to kick off, or a big, cool moment to kick off a big new angle, then this was a perfect way to do it. Yeah. I would not consider this desperation mode. I think that's a disingenuous take on it. Lord Blake Whitehouse says, what time and day do you specifically consider it to be the weekend?
I think whenever your last official obligation is over on Friday, so when you work on Fridays, when you're at work, the second you're off the clock, weekend begins. For us, it's pretty much when we're done with our Friday morning show. Mm-hmm. And then I hop in my car. We go play basketball. For me, weekend begins.
Yeah. Like for example, we're going to be gone, or you're going to be gone. There's no show tomorrow because we did one on Sunday, so we got our 5 in for the week. So you're heading out of town.
Weekend.
So
begins.
My weekend's about to begin in like 10 minutes or so.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I mean, I still got some editing to do, but
Well, this got to be uploaded and stuff. So I guess once the episode's uploaded, so. Then your weekend begins.
Well, yeah, but I got like the Friendo Club videos. I'm still gonna do. Probably gonna do Wrestle Juice. I don't. My thing is this. Like, I definitely get my time, my Steve time in. Part of that is basketball with you. Hanging out with Bama. Watching some Godfather on Pluto TV. But like, I'm not an idle hands guy. I need to be doing something. And generally speaking, it's sitting here at this desk putting stuff together. So, yeah.
Alex Foster here says, what should Von Wagner's new name be? It can't be Cal Bloom.
Okay. All right. Ideally, he would join Dr. Wagner Jr.'s family. So, like, Senor Wagner or Cal Wagner.
When I think of Cal, I think of one last name associated with it from my childhood.
Worthington. Yeah, great.
Cal Worthington.
Good. I like that. Yeah, that's good. Give him a different... What if it's Von Worthington? Hey, that's a cool name.
That is a good name.
Von Worthington.
You can take that one, Cal.
Yeah, it's all yours, buddy.
Doc Hensley here says, love the pseudo NWO storyline with the Elite. It's sports entertainment at its finest. Would you guys add any other additional wrestlers to this faction? Not unless there's an obvious connection. Don't want any bloat for the new Elite.
I want nothing but bloat for the
No,
Elite.
the NWO got unwieldy, bloated.
Look, this is obviously following a certain NWO pattern, and I feel like in order to best replicate that, but be able to do so in kind of a meta way, add bloat. Plenty of bloat.
Well, who's the bloat you'd like to see?
Oh, everybody who came out at the end. Was it Carly Bravo, Top Flight guy,
Penta was out there.
Seidel. Sure, Pentagon. Yeah, because NWO had weird, like, it was like, what's this guy doing in NWO? So it's Pentagon.
You know who should join? It's Lance Archer.
Lance Archer
involved in
He's the
something
big show of the NWO. He's the big show of the New Elite. They need, dude, one thing they need, new logo, new shirt.
Yeah.
Kind of shocked they haven't done that already.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I got to look into getting a Scapegoat shirt, man.
Oh, Steve's all in on Jack Perry.
I gotta see what the Scapegoat offerings are, and I gotta see what the Okada offerings are. I need some new summer attire, dude. AEW shop AEW.
Oh, going to be all about AEW this summer, huh?
Yeah, man. Oh wow. Oh jeez. Brian Cage. Did you see Brian Cage's tweet congratulating Swerve?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Swerve. And he meant to put fucking A, man. But when you read it, it just looks like fucking a man. And he deleted it. He goes, congratulations, Swerve. Fucking a man. Oh, God.
Oh, that
So
Brian
Brian
Cage
Cage
shirt is very, very X-Men.
It's
It
what-
says the
it's
Machine
the-
97. Yeah.
Machine 97.
It's not a bad shirt.
Not
I
a
would
bad
wear it.
shirt. Fucking a man. Honestly, he should do a shirt just with that tweet on it.
Lean into the tweet, huh?
Lean into the tweet. Oh, man. Oh, look at that Scapegoat shirt. There we go.
Wait, they have Prince Nana button-ups? Hey, look at those.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah. Oh, look at this Ospreay shirt. It looks like a Clash album. Anyways, let's see here. More questions. Oh, wow. Dr. Howie says, who sold better? Tony getting hit with the mic or Vince with that last stunner at Mania?
Oh, God.
It was Tony
with the
dude.
mic.
It was Tony. That last stunner was horrible.
It was atrocious.
Let's see here.
Decal says, how over would Brian Pillman Jr. have been in AEW if he used his current NXT gimmick and entrance? I don't think it would have
They
mattered.
wouldn't have been able to pull that one off.
No.
John asks, which situations in your everyday life would you like to hear the following old themes? First up, Gallus. Anytime I walk into a bar, I'd love to hear the old school Gallus theme.
Yeah, I think anytime you want to make a dramatic entrance, yeah, that's great.
Hey, yeah. That, when I walk into Jan's, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Tyler Bates' old theme, which is basically just a sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer. You know, when I get up in the morning, it's got a good peppy energy to it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. How about this? Aleister Black. No man is truly he. Phil, that's when I walk into the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Or onto the court.
Yeah. I think any of them are good to walking on the basketball court.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And then lastly, Undisputed Era.
Again, basketball court. I don't really go anywhere though. I go to like am I walking the grocery store? I'm gonna hear I'm gonna throw up my my UE.
Yeah.
No. Walking into Target.
Blech. Eastside says, blech. How long until Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara join Chris Jericho's new faction?
Oh, God.
That'll kill it. That'll just kill it dead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't miss Sammy.
Nope.
I don't miss him. I don't miss his presence on TV.
Just a Hippo here says, who should team with Shad Khan against Okada and the Young Bucks, and who has taken the pin?
God, I saw this meme. It was like a fast motion version of Scott Steiner attacking Triple H, but Triple H had on like business attire, And so Scott Steiner like stripped him naked basically and threw him out of the ring, but Triple H had like a thong on still.
Yeah.
And it said Jack Perry versus Tony Khan at Double or Nothing. Oh man.
Hangman.
Yeah, Hangman. Yeah,
Since
but Hangman's
Kenny's
so good as a bad guy though.
I know. But if Kenny were able to wrestle, I'd say Kenny.
Yeah, of course it'd be Kenny. Oh goodness. Let's see here. Zach Stitch says, do you think when MJF gets back, he'll be the leader of Team AEW against the Elite?
I feel like he should really be feuding with Kingdom.
Now, I say leave that one in the past. Leave that one alone.
Yeah. Luis here says, how would you make Tony Khan's on-screen character different than other authority figures? I don't think he's going to be on screen a lot. He took one move.
Well, I'll dovetail into this question from Fear and Loathing. If Dynamite doesn't open next week with a Shad Khan promo naming Jeff Jarrett as interim boss, then was this all for nothing? That would be amazing.
That would be something else.
I'm renaming it Global Force Wrestling. Global Elite Wrestling.
There you go.
GEW. There you go. Anyways, that's all I got over here, man.
That's all I got. Everything else we pretty much talked about on the show.
All right, the weekend's about to begin. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Go check out our offerings over at Friendo Club. We got some WWE Draft Central videos going up over there.
We do.
Later on today, stars that should go from SmackDown to Raw or Raw to SmackDown. One of them.
SmackDown to Raw is the one I did.
We already have one up right now. I think.
Yeah, you did Raw to SmackDown.
Yeah, that's right. And the other one's going up today. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to get up the NXT one because the draft starts tomorrow night.
Yeah, I got to get it up, yeah.
Gotta get that
and then
shit
Saturday, we'll do our reaction to Meltzer star ratings.
Ooh, wow. Yeah. They're already not fresh with those star ratings.
Well, they weren't fresh to begin with because it took them a whole week to get them out.
Good Lord. When did that card happen?
Well, it felt like a month ago. I don't know.
Like a month ago. It was like mid-April. We're already in late April now.
I know. What the heck?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey, other guys, maybe work harder. That's a joke if you guys can't tell. Anyways, this is going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I got Hilton in the wall right now telling us to wrap it up, so we better do that.
Hilton. It's no wall Hilton.
A little bit of
Not
wall
there.
Hilton.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hilton stains all over my wall.